No. You just give them time, Snurdly. Give them time. They're still trying to figure out their approach. I've already figured out what it's going to be. They're already focusing on Breyer's dissent. In the gun ban today, the Heller case, what a great decision from the Supreme Court today. But frankly, I like it, yes. But there's some things about this whole system that are beginning to bother me a little bit. We'll get into that in great detail as the program unfolds before your very eyes. Meanwhile, the drive-bys are just trying to figure this out now. The AP reporting this, blah, 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 but probably leaves most firearms laws intact. They have no idea about that. They're hoping and speculating. Greetings, my friends, and welcome. It's Rush Limbaugh, the Excellence in Broadcasting Network, on the fastest 3 hours in media. Not a good day for liberals today. This is not a good day for liberals. Supreme Court today affirmed the Second Amendment unambiguously, using the term individual right. It is an individual right. What's stunning about this decision, you can take all of it. I read it. This Scalia is a brilliant man. He was the lone opinion for the majority. Nobody else joined in. The first half of his opinion deconstructs the entire Second Amendment in the most logical, unassailable manner I have ever seen, using footnotes way back to the founding. And of course, he's a big original intent justice, strict constructionist, as they call them. But it's devastating. And then, of course, Stephen Breyer and John Paul Stevens have their dissents, and they're lame. But the fact that the Second Amendment, as Scalia makes clear, I would urge you, we're going to link to it at rushlimbaugh.com, and it's written so that you can understand it. I would urge you, when you have a chance, to read this opinion all the way up through the dissents. I mean, you don't have to read the dissents because, the drive-bys are going to tell you what the dissents are. They're focusing on Breyer's dissent right now. That's their first line of defense against this. But you'll understand why strict constructionism and looking to the original intent of the founders is so crucial to maintaining the integrity of the United States Constitution. Everybody has thought, all these legal scholars all these years have thought that the Second Amendment was rather ambiguous because it seems to be a non sequitur, a well-regulated militia being necessary, blah, 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 the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. He goes through this brilliantly. It is as smart as I've ever heard anybody do it, and it's a joy to read this thing. We'll have, after the break here, I was touching some of the things that are going to be discussed on the program today. We have audio soundbites coming up on some of this. In fact, let me play audio soundbite 1 right now. This is I forgot to trying to do too much here in too little time. The most striking, the most eye-opening, well, it didn't open my eyes, it just kind of froze them. The most amazing thing about this ruling, the most amazing thing, ladies and gentlemen, the idea that 4 justices of the United States Supreme Court disagreed with the concept that the Second Amendment is an individual right, ought to be a wake-up call for everybody as to where we're headed if liberals get control, mass control of all 3 branches of our government. There's no question the Second Amendment is an individual right. The First Amendment's an individual right. Scalia goes through all of this in declaring it an individual right, but 4 justices of the United States Supreme Court disagreed with that. And it gets even worse by the time you get to who? Breyer? Breyer is sitting there wanting to apply a case-by-case application of the Second Amendment based on what he thinks or the courts would think is necessary given modern times. I mean, this is striking. This is simple. But I'll tell you one of the things that bothers me about this, not the ruling itself. But every June, the country gets out of bed, and they start panting. And the country says, what will the court tell us we can do today, and what will the court tell us we can't do? What will the Supreme Court, by virtue of its own usurpation of powers, by virtue of liberal justices being on this court for years and years and years, has taken over the role of arbiter of political decisions in this country. Not judicial. I mean, yeah, they do some judicial cases, obviously. But it frightens me that it does frighten me that so many people slavishly look at the United States Supreme Court as the final word on issues that are political, not judicial, and not legal. And so we sit around, we're like little serfs. We're waiting for the crumbs to be thrown our way as we hang outside the big mansion, hoping to be fed a little freedom or hoping not to have some taken away from us. And then depending on the decision, we get mad or we get happy. So today we're happy. Hey, they upheld the Second Amendment. That should not be news. The fact that this was even up for grabs should be frightening as hell to all of us. The fact that 4 justices on the U.S. Supreme Court tried to take it away from us. And yet we're going, all right. We're playing defense, folks. We're playing defense. And then, of course, earlier in the week, we find out that it's okay to rape a kid and you won't be executed, even though the state of Louisiana passed a law saying you would be. We go, our emotions go up and down, and we argue these things on the merits of the law and society and culture, forgetting the fact that a state has the right to determine how it's going to punish people who commit crimes in that state, if that state does so by virtue of the elected representatives in the state legislature, meaning the people of the state of Louisiana decided this. And the U.S. Supreme Court said, you're too stupid to know how to do this. As they do in a number of, and they couch this all in legal mumbo-jumbo. So we sit around, get all excited, and we get disappointed and so forth, and we look at what cases will the court take next term that will be decided and so forth. It's like we have, over the years, just casually thrown away our own role in determining our own lives. And we've gladly surrendered the power we, the people, have to a bunch of people in black robes that change every now and then, depending on one of them croaks. And whoever happens to be the political leader of the day, the president, whoever runs the Senate Judiciary Committee, gets to determine what the liberty and freedom of the United States population will be. At any rate, I have arrived at that propitious moment where it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for EIB windfall profits. So we will engage in those profits now and be right back.
Satisfaction guaranteed. Or the next hour is free. Rush on the EIB network.
KFI AM 640.
More stimulating talk radio.